Okay, this is the in-depth movie review of Hostel. This is my copy on Blu-ray, and this is another movie that's, along with this and Hostel 2, I really kind of consider one movie, but it's also on my top 10. This movie was released just a few years ago, 2005 or 2006. Anyway, this is the director's cut, and it's, an hour and a half long. It's pretty standard for a horror, if you want to call it horror. I just like to call it fun to watch. The movie itself seems like either people really like it, or either just hate it. So there's really kind of three sets of people who are, who watch this movie. So, and I'm in the group, of course, that really likes it. Now, following standard storytelling, this movie has pretty much all the basics of a standard movie. The mini movie is about around 13 minutes long in this movie. It's just basically them in Prague and doing their thing in Prague, and then pretty much you would consider that to be the mini movie right there. But then they meet the guy in the hostel room, and he tells them about Slovakia, and that's their big choice in the movie. This is coming upon the end of the first act, and they really have the big choice: should they stay or should they go to this place that has all the women? And, well, of course, it wouldn't be a movie unless they made the choice to go, so they go. And they get there and everything seems fine. And then that's when they meet the girls, the two main girls. And I guess you could call it a meet cute. Pretty much any movie has to have one if there's going to be a romance in it. You can consider the meeting in the room a meet cute, where they go into their hotel room, and those girls already in their hotel room, and they find out that's their roommates. And so yeah, if this movie has a meet cute, that would be it. The chance meeting in the room. And the halfway point in this movie comes a little early. It's 35 minutes in, so not quite halfway, but for this type of movie, it's placed nicely. And it's basically when it's after their first night in Slovakia, actually Bratislava. It's after their first night, and their friend from Iceland is missing. They have no idea where he is, and they're kind of the Josh character. He wants to leave, but the Paxton character says, "No, we should stay. We have our whole lives ahead of us. Let's just stay and have some more fun." So really, it's at that point that they decide they're going to continue staying there, and that's really their last chance to get out of this alive. So the point of no return is deciding that they're going to stay there, even though their friend is missing mysteriously. Then it's right after this point that I think really there's a big twist in the movie. Because the main character, the character with, the backstory that you associate with is the Josh character. He's the one that is kind of shy. He's the main character. It seems like he has the most lines. Whenever I sit down and watches this movie, they think he's the one that's going to live. That's pretty standard. He's the one that's going to live. But right after the halfway point, he's the one that dies first. So he dies about 45 minutes into this. And that's a very big twist, and that's one of the things. That's one of the big reasons why I really like this movie. And that kind of leads up, from the point he dies and to the point of the climax. It's all about the Paxton character. And so the movie reaches its climax. It's the lowest point for the main character, and in this instance, it's when Paxton is caught, and he is tied to the chair. Pretty much, that's definitely his lowest point. It's the climax of the movie. Will he die? Will he live? and by chance he makes it out of there. He gets the chainsaw. He gets a few fingers cut off by the chainsaw, but he does make it out of that room. Then that kind of delves into the third act of the movie, where all the conclusions are made. Now, about a half hour or so into the movie, you understand, you get a little insight into the backstory of Paxton, and which is he has a recurring nightmares about when he was a kid. Well, not so much a kid, but when he was younger, he heard a girl screaming. She was drowning, and he could have saved her, but he did not, and he's been regretting it ever since. Well, that backstory, that conclusion is tied up right after the climax when he has a chance to escape, but he goes back to save the Japanese girl who is screaming from inside the building. So he ties that backstory up and really concludes that backstory for himself. And then they finally make a thrilling escape. They do the big, get to the big finish. They drive through town. Kill the girls that led them to get kidnapped. Yeah, they kill the girls. He gets on the train and he gets out of there. And then the big last conclusion is when he notices Lettuce Hands on the train, and he follows Lettuce Hands to the bathroom and he kills him. And at that point, it's the point of the story where I believe Paxton stops being a childish character. He's not really so much childish, but he's the one that's there to meet up with all the girls and go out to the clubs. And he talks about halfway through the movie, he makes a little speech about going to college. Well, this is he kills the guy at the very end, and that kind of concludes his life up to that point. He's ready to grow up and live the rest of his life in a good manner. So when this movie first came out, I watched it and I liked it, and I think part of the reason why I didn't really like it so much was because whenever I go to a movie with somebody, I'm always thinking about what they're thinking too. Do they like this movie? Do they not? So it came out in DVD, and I bought it and I watched it by myself. And it's that point when I really liked it. I watched all the commentaries on the DVD. There's 4 commentaries on the DVD. I watched all those, and the more and more I watch this, the more I really like it. So that's basically how the storyline goes, and I think this was really underrated when it came out. Lots of people said, "Oh, this is a really gory movie." I don't think so. I've seen lots of more gorier movies, and I think this had more to do about human characteristics and gore than people really realize. But it's definitely my top 10 along with what I call the second half of it, which is Hostel 2, and I think this is another one of those movies that the more you watch it, the more you like it. The more you understand it's just not about death and gore. It's more about human characteristics. So that's it for the review of Hostel. And just let me know if any comments and how you like the movie and what you didn't like about it. And I'll see if I can persuade anybody to really like it like I do.